Okay, hello everyone. Sorry about that, I forgot to set that up properly. Okay, let's play more Rogue Trader. Okay, so what was we doing first? What was we doing? Okay, so journal. Okay. Dark echelons. The Lord Captain has received a plea to assess the actions of Seneschal Wasarian. As a result of Wasarian's decision regarding the situation in one of the sectors on the lower decks, problem now threatens to engulf. Oh, yeah, I do remember. Okay. Alright, I remember what we're doing. Let's go and deal with this. Oh. Alright, he's not popular. Okay, Abelard reflectively wipes the sweat from his brow in a startlingly human gesture, and a telling one. A rare moment where he allows his age and his wariness to show through his armor like veneer of self-assurance. The lower decks are a source of endless problems. Sometimes I dearly regret that we cannot replace all the locals with servitors. Okay, did you hear? They were shouting your name. The people dared to disrespect a senior officer. Let's keep moving. We need to get to the bottom of this. Of course they were. The organization of the daily routine life of the ship rests upon my shoulders. The mountain of challenges and problems from which I endeavour to insulate you, Lord Captain. The situation on the lower decks has been a cause for concern, and I have intervened personally on more than one occasion. That must be why they remember me. They do not know your face. To them you are akin to a creature of legend, the one who has stood on the steps of the Golden Throne no less, whereas I am the man whose name is attached to every order docking rations or lowering a bay's heating. Okay. They would not have the chance to express such disrespect if we were not here, and if the situation had been dealt with by the relevant officers. Abelard grimaces. Abelard grimaces. It is a junior officer's worst failing, to pass problems up the chain of command. I have never been able to abide it. I shall say it again, it was a mistake to come here on Lieutenant Vent's whim, Lord Captain. I must admit that the Lieutenant is by no means the worst material for an officer, Abelard adds peevishly. Peevishly. But in the name of terror, the girl is the same age as my eldest great-granddaughter. Wow. And she has the gall to tell me how to manage the lower decks and hunt down cultists. It will be another 20 years at least before she can be trusted to act without oversight. Alright, let's keep moving. We've got to get to the bottom of this. Oh, level up.
The web serves.
Kibella, level up. 2 ranks. Contagious luck. I'll take that. And then agility. Okay, next then. Oh, let's go captive audience. And then Medicare. Alright, that's good.
Is there money to be made?
Alright, what's going on in here then?
What torment?
Miscalculations are for commoners. I don't make mistakes. I make profitable learning experiences.
Very good. Alright, now where are we going? Oh, okay. Okay. What is in here? Lower deck rabble. Emperor, save us and keep us. This is depressing. Oh, goods. Loot. Give me some loot. What's this? Machine right set. Okay.
Keep your wits about you.
Alright.
This could be an opportunity.
I don't get that.
I still do not see our purpose in coming here.
Relax, old man. Going for a stroll on the lower decks every once in a while is good for you. Lets you see how the simple folk live.
Alright, some party banter.
I always have a backup plan.
Okay, where are we going? Huge pipes. Oh. That's my officer. A Vril event. The sounds of a heated discussion reverberate through the ship's bays. Lieutenant Avril Event of the ship's enforcers is barring a path of her superior, Master-at-Arms Jocasta Sarbak, who has arrived clad in armour. Judging by their expressions and tone, the standoff has dragged on for some time already and has now reached a boiling point. Lieutenant Vent, my patience is wearing thin. I have given you an order. Now get out of my way. I cannot comply with that order, ma'am. Vent looks shaken, but there is a fire in her eyes. This is my deck and my sector. So long as this area remains under the Lord Captain's special oversight, no action can be taken without my express permission. There are only 3 people who are authorized to make me stand down. The First Officer, the Rogue Trader, and the Emperor himself. So not all my lessons fall on deaf ears. Abelard mutters in crabby approval. He does not clarify whether he means Vent sourback looming over her, or both? Your Lordship, noticing you, the two officers snap to attention and salute. Their subordinates following suit a moment later. What's the situation? We've encountered some locals on our way here. Their conduct was outrageous. They even tried to throw things at us. I want to speak to the strikers. I will give the assault unit permission to open fire. We will crush the seeds of insurrection with full force. What's the situation? Your Lordship, my people have locked down the bay where the strikers are, including their leaders. We have the situation under control as far as resources allow. Under control, Lieutenant. I come here to lead an investigation unit. And what do I see? The rabble is on the verge of mutiny. There is nothing to investigate. This simply calls for immediate repressions and firing squads. And you, Vent, are a step away from facing charges yourself. Alright. We encountered some locals on our way here. Their conduct was outrageous. They even tried to throw things at us. Vent's gaze is full of worry and regret. The people are getting desperate, clearly. They saw the assault unit and they decided they had nothing left to lose. I mean, I apologize, Lord Captain. It is outrageous. I'm sure the people simply didn't recognize you. It wouldn't have occurred otherwise. We will deal with them once the current situation is resolved. I want to speak to the strikers. Abelard's mouth twists, but he restrains himself and says nothing. Right you are, Lord Captain. Allow me to wish you good luck. Hope gleams in Lieutenant Vent's eyes. Alright. Okay. A dozen pairs of eyes stare apprehensively at you. The people before you are typical inhabitants of the lower decks. You take in their simple clothes, crude weapons, and faces that display varying levels of mutation, from barely discernible to strange, outright grotesque. A whisper passes through the crowd, and you detect a mixture of fear, astonishment, and joy in their reactions. Finally, 3 people break away from the crowd, an elderly woman and 2 men. These must be the leaders. They bow clumsily before you. Lord Captain, you have come down to see us. Tell me what is troubling you. Why are you striking? Striking? That's news to us, your lordship, says a tall, thin man in a worker's garb. All we're doing is asking questions, saying what we think. Shut up, Rivet, snaps the old woman who turns her hostile eyes on you. Here's the deal, your lordship. Your damned enforcers are out all over us down here. They say they're looking for cultists. One wrong word and they're reaching for their batons. If they want to punish someone, they turn off the heating to hold base for weeks at a time so we get sick and freeze. In my clan, 2 little ones die from inflammation in their lungs because of those enforcers. The old woman spits on the floor and rubs the spittle with the toe of a worn out shoe. Argenta does not interrupt the workers, but you see the sadness well in her eyes when the children's deaths are mentioned. She quietly whispers a requiem prayer and makes a sign over herself. It's all true. Vent is the only enforcer officer who stood up for us. It's clear as day who had a mother from the lower decks, who grew up amidships and has no fellow feeling towards us. And who grew up amidships and has no fellow feelings towards us. The grim man with the scarred face throws up his arms. Your lordship, we're no villains here. We're honest workers, your servants. We've plotted no disorder. We went on strike openly. And now we've got guns pointed at us. All we're doing is asking to be allowed to work in peace without being harassed. Okay. The persecution started apropos of nothing, you say? I was told that one of you was found in possession of a cultist amulet, and that there are heretics hiding here. Abelard, do you have anything to add? We were attacked on the way here. How do you explain that? What changes do you want? Let's find out about the cultist amulet. A cultist amulet? What's that? The gewgaw they found on the dead drunkard? If it was something evil or forbidden, we sure didn't know. The enforcers just said that they were looking for heretics among us, and anyone obstructing their investigation would be punished. But how could there be heretics here? We know our own people. There'd be no new faces around. Definitely not, and if there were, we'd be the first to report them. As for the amulet or whatever it is, they took it off a dead body. There are no cultists still breathing in our sector, that's for sure. But when that fight broke out, some enterprising folk looted the bodies. The boots they came back with, nobody's ever tread these decks in boots so fine. I can tell you that. Seems to me these cultists are better commanders than us. Oh yeah, those boots, they really were fine. And there was no harm in taking them, right? As for the amulet, it must have been pocketed by someone who didn't know any better. We don't need any amulets around here. We all worship the Emperor, and when we're working, we bow down before the machine spirits of the large and small transformers and the servo motor. The same way my grandfather was taught 100 years ago by a tech priest who came a-calling. Believe us, your lordship, we are people of faith. Naive children. Weren't you taught from an early age about the dangers of the arch-enemy's creations? Weren't you warned that any unfamiliar object could be one of them? We were told, Holy Sister, but it was long ago. The last time we saw a confessor in our sector, it was just after I'd had my third little one. That is regrettable, but you cannot lay the burden of leading a righteous life on the shoulders of her holy fathers. Who will you blame when beasts crawl out of those amulets you stole from the heretics? The Holy Father, who was not there, or the scavenger who brought evil down on himself and his neighbours? Fair enough. Abelard, do you have anything to add? I authorise the use of all necessary measures to locate Chaos worshippers hiding in this sector. The specific steps taken by the officers were not reported to me. Abelard frowns, clearly disgruntled about having to explain himself in the workers' presence. Nevertheless, I am certain that their actions were justified. Cultists are no drunken stevedoers. Stevedores. Weird word. They are the enemy and a threat to the ship. Neutralizing them demands decisive action. Okay. Sarback, was it really necessary to torture these people with cold? The rabble understands only one thing, Lord Captain, and that of violence. As per regulation, should the labourers persist in their unwillingness to cooperate, the next step is limiting their air supply and cutting off water, which is almost certain to restore order. The peasants can grumble all they want, but in the end, they are the source of their own misery. All they have to do is bow their heads and fall in line, and the need for punitive measures will disappear. Okay. We were attacked on the way here. How do you explain that? There's an explanation for you. The people have been pushed to their limits. Now they're lashing out. As if we don't know why these top deck units are being sent down here. Like that one there and that lieutenant that the lieutenant won't let past. Our clans are all inside the bays that's been sealed off. But the lower decks are big. I'm sure there are some people who've had just about enough. We're getting it from all sides. The soldiers have encircled the ones who've risen up. A death squad has just arrived. It's no wonder folks are lashing out. Awareness test succeeded. Their words seemed sincere to you, their body language and glances traded between them revealed news of the attack has shocked them. 6 experience points. Alright, what changes do you want? Well, would you look at this? The exalted Lord Commander himself is asking us bilge rats what we want. Well, here's what. We want you to rein in your damned enforcers, to quit turning off the heat, and to stop battering everything that moves. No, that's not it. We want the enforcers gone from here, and we want to be armed. Give us arms, and we'll govern ourselves. We'll defend ourselves if these cultists do show their faces. I've been leader of my clan for 20 years now. Getting rid of these club-wielding thugs can only improve things around here. You've gone too far, old Nan. They'll never let the maggots on the lower decks without the enforcers breathing down their necks. They probably even insist on enforcers on the upper decks too. As for weapons, what do we need them for? Before the first day's out, we'll have someone shooting their neighbour out of stupidity or drunkenness. We don't need that. If the enforcers stop harassing us, that'll be enough. In return, we'll find the scavengers who robbed the cultist bodies, and we'll talk to them, one lower decker to another. If there are any more of those damned amulets about, we'll hand them over to the enforcers ourselves. Speak for yourself and your clan, and I'll speak for me and mine. I don't want empty gestures, I want real change. They'll promise us the world now, but as soon as the Anointed One turns his back, these brutes will be on us even harder than before. All because we dared to speak out. The tall worker's eyes dart between the two arguing leaders. Every few seconds he opens his mouth as if planning to agree, but each time he falls silent, simply making a few vague noises of approval. Thoughts, Abelard? Master at Arms, where do you stand? Coercion. Thoughts, Abelard? Story about... story about going scavenging for boots and accidentally picking up a heretical amulet doesn't convince me. These people were moments away from rebelling and possibly becoming minions of the archenemy. We must not give them what they want. Even if they did acquire something innocently, purely out of their own stupidity, that does not mean they're not tainted with corruption. What begins as petty thievery can turn into a far graver problem. I have seen it before. Abelard's face darkens momentarily. In my second war, there was a sergeant in the Imperial Guard regiment that was stationed nearby. The sergeant took an ordinary pocket knife from the body of a heretic, and his whole unit lost their lives for it. When they finally managed to break into the barracks, they found not a single survivor. Only the pocket knife which had grown through the roots of the bed like metal choking vine. So when it comes to scavengers, malcontents, strikers, or whatever they'll turn into next, my verdict is simple. Give them no quarter. Alright. Master at Arms, where do you stand? Give the rabble a Grux, and they will take an agri-world. Lord Captain? They only understand brute force and will interpret any concession as a sign of weakness. Giving them weapons and recalling the enforcers would be folly. It would only be a matter of time before we have full-scale mutiny on our hands. Coercion, I'm going to use coercion. Spreading anarchy on a ship is the first step towards embracing chaos. Putting weapons into untrained hands will be even worse. What's more, the enforcers are needed to maintain oversight and order. Withdraw those demands and we will consider the rest. Coercion test succeeded. The tall worker they call Rivet shrugs and casts a sidelong look at the old woman. Old Nan, listen. Listen, the Lord Captain himself has come down and is offering us concessions. and I don't know a single person in the whole of Depot 4 who's ever stood next to the rogue trader, let alone talk to them. Back down. Now's no time for you to be a stubborn old crone. Listen to us, old Nan. The three clans of Depot 4 ought to act as one. We've made our minds up. It's your turn to decide. Don't ask them to disband the enforcers or give us weapons. We don't need any of that. The old woman hisses in dissatisfaction. You two are ganging up on me, is that it? So brave you are against an old woman, but I'll shut up, I will. Indeed. I won't go against two clan leaders on my own. If you want to make peace with the enforcers, make your peace. That's great, just fantastic. Lord Captain, we're all agreed. Okay, then it is decided. The persecution will stop. And I will expect you to assist in locating any remaining amulets or weapons left by the cultists. Okay, your lordship, thank you. You have not abandoned us lower deckers. You came yourself and settled everything. I'll tell my grandchildren about this. Of course, your lordship. We'll root out any nasty business faster than the enforcers and we'll leave no stone unturned. Alright.
I always keep my options open.
Watch out. The premonition runs true.
Alright. Oh, good. I'll do. Okay. Oh, that's her. Oh, they seem to like me now.
Always keep your eye on the prize.
Alright. Stopping unexpectedly, Abelard imperiously dismisses the unit to stand at a distance and addresses your other companions saying, I have an urgent matter to discuss with the Lord Captain. Please give us a moment. Abelard looks at you and his last vestiges of restraint vanish. Well, are you pleased with your investigation, Lord Captain? You no-toed to the disloyal rabble. You believed their lies and showed them leniency. Next time the ship is attacked by cultists, that rabble will welcome them in with open arms and allow them to wreak havoc wherever they like, because they see you as a weak leader. Is that how you see your future at the helm of the Von Valancius Protectorate? Ooh, do not speak to your Lord Captain in that tone. Why are you so angry? I solved the problem. There is some truth to your criticism. Let's talk about your role in this instead. You allowed this revolt to happen. Your actions practically guaranteed it would. Yeah, he's not wrong. I'm putting a lot of trust in these people. There is some truth to your criticism, I do agree. I should say so. Abelard heaves a sigh, but he visibly relaxes. You simply needed to trust me. I would have handled the situation myself had you not decided to intervene. Remember, Lord Captain, Theodora, do you think she ever set one slippered foot on the lower decks? No, she did not. Such matters were left to myself and the junior officers while she dedicated herself to the grand design of the Protectorate, as any true strategist and rogue trader ought. Maybe if Theodora had spent more time on trifling matters, she wouldn't have wound up dead. There is a new Lord Captain aboard this ship now, and I will not repeat her mistake. I would be only too willing to trust in my seneschal and not fill my head with such matters, but The situation had spiraled out of your control, Abelard. Give me a reason why I should continue listening to your advice and trusting your judgment. Right now, I don't see any. It did get out of control. Abelard's face relaxes slightly. You're right. At least as concerns junior officers making complaints directly to you. He's not a bad guy. And Abelard stands right at attention. I lost my temper, Lord Captain, and I believe I ought to explain myself. Abelard speaks slowly, the words not coming easily to him. The prosperity of the Von Valancius Protectorate is not just an empty phrase to me. I left the Imperial Navy for the chance to see it flourish, and it was the most momentous decision of my life. I did it because I saw in the Lord Captain Theodora's deeds the sign of true greatness. Rogue traders do not simply forge new routes and capture worlds. They create order out of anarchy. That creative impulse was entirely lacking during my time in the military. So I left behind everything I had known, everything my family had known. I come from a long line of officers, and I embarked upon this incredibly reckless venture, Lord Captain. Oh, Lord Captain Theodora entrusted me with all of the concerns she had for no time for. She would go off on her flagship for long periods to distant frontiers, on scouting voyages, and the advancement of the entire Protectorate rested on my shoulders. And then suddenly, everything that had been built over years and years began to quake, rattling like a flimsy hanger on a seismically active world. Okay, I didn't miss that. One of the senior officers betrayed us all, the rogue trader was killed, and who knows what is happening on planets. I tell you all this honestly without fear of appearing weak. All of this has come as a grievous blow to me. I am not panicking or grieving because I cannot allow myself to panic or grieve. I am duty bound to aid the rogue trader, and to aid you to find your footing as quickly as possible. And to do that, I must insulate you from problems that are in the past and have been dealt with by tried and tested procedure, set out by the ship's regulations. Procedures that were established long ago and have functioned smoothly for decades cannot suddenly be deemed excess to requirements. Okay, give me a second. Okay, let's continue. Sorry about that. Okay. Theodora trusted in established procedures, and she died. I won't make the same mistake. If you want to keep building the future of the Von Valancius Protectorate with me, stop living in the past. I understand, but you need to learn how to respect me as your Lord Commander and Rogue Trader. Accept it and start living in the new world, a world where Theodora is gone and where you and I have new decisions to make. The prosperity of the Von Valancius Protectorate is just as important to me. You are the only person who has comprehensive knowledge of how things run on this ship. I think in the future I will follow your recommendations. I value what Theodora created, and I trust that this situation is an aberration in the ship's otherwise smooth operation. Since the established procedures are working, I see no reason to change them. I have seen plenty of sentiment and hand-wringing in recent days, but very little competence. I have no plans to rely on your judgment or your tried and tested procedures in the future. Ooh. Alright, it's this one. Abelard solemnly inclines his head. Yes, Lord Captain. After a moment of silence, he adds, looking at you with interest. Your resolve is admirable and demonstrates strong leadership. I shall remember this moment should my old habits ever begin to creep back in. And now, please, let us leave the lower decks. If the rogue trader desires to stretch his legs, there are far more suitable places. Alright, quest complete. Okay, back for looking for trouble.
Rise to the top or get left in the dust.
Alright, to the Void Ship Bridge. Right, now we've dealt with that, let's continue on with the main story, if we get there. There's so many like side quests and side events, it's really good. I'll be playing this game for a very long time, I think. And no, I still don't have the second season pass. Alright. Let's see if he's got anything new to say first.
Lord Captain. Lord Captain.
Okay. Anybody else have anything to say down here? Oh, what are you doing?
Greetings.
Master Helmsman. Okay. The tall man before you appears to be woven from tendons and muscle. Blue veins snake under his white, almost dove-coloured skin. Sorry, just checking something. And his scalp and chin are covered in cropped white hair. His neck and shoulders are wrapped in wires that hint at the presence of neural connectors under his uniform. The officer's face seems to be twisted in a perpetual grimace. I can't say that word. Grimace of annoyance and anger, but he greets you with a respectful nod. Lord Captain. Master Helmsman Ravor, at your service. Remind me who you are. I'm the Master Helmsman, Lord Captain. Pirate accent. I stand at the wheel of this here tub. I mean your vessel, and bark commands at the idiots who tend to its related systems. In layman's terms, I'm the one who stops us from running into an asteroid or a disruptive gravitational wave when we're travelling through the void. Do you control the ship in real space? I wish that was my only job. I have to steer her through the warp too. But most of the credit for that goes to the navigator. The warp's a nightmare, always tossing up something new, and all my years at the helm, they count for nothing in there. My part's small enough. I just monitor our systems, follow the charted route, and I don't kick up a fuss when new orders coming from the Navigator's Sanctum. Real space. Material universe. Now that's where I keep my eyes peeled. Gravitational anomalies, void currents, hard radiation, that kind of shit shows up everywhere. Thanks to the Emperor, the augurs on this vessel are holding up. And so far, we've been able to spot if something bad's coming our way. Who are these idiots you're in charge of? There are too many to list them all. Tech priests from the Engineerum, voidsmen from the augur decks, and the work-shy fools on the bridge. I'd have every last one of them flogged. They all need a wake-up call. They all need to be whipped into shape, or else this ship is going nowhere. Or even worse, it will go somewhere we don't want it to go. You must have dealings with the Navigator as part of your duties. Damn it, Lord Captain. To tell you the truth, I've been asking myself where'd the Lord Captain fish this Orselio girl for out of. Now, it's not like I've met many navigators, but this one. I don't feel safe with that little princess pulling our void ship through the warp. She's done a decent job so far though, so I guess she's managing. Are you a bit ageist? Because she's young. That's enough for now. Right you are, Lord Captain. You're a Voidborn, are you not? That I am. Born into a helmsman clan in the bowels of a Chartist vessel. Studied the family trade until I was 15. Then my entire clan was butchered in a mutiny by a lower hold scum. They spared the young'uns, of course they did. Kids with implanted connectors make great navigational servitors. But I was having none of it. They weren't going to make a servitor out of me, so I escaped into the crawlways. And then I spent months picking them off, one after the other. Ravor stopped abruptly. You got me talking up a storm. Anyway, yes, I'm a Voidborn. Finish your story, Ravor. Not much to tell. I gutted everyone I could get to, and then I fled upward to the middle decks. That's where the augur operators took me under their wing. They have an apprentice helmsman of their own up there, you see? Nobody asked me any questions, so I stayed. I grew up, trained and got smarter, then ended up a junior helmsman. A dozen years later, Danrock spotted me and lured me away, the cheeky blighter. I can see you're not a gregarious sort. Ravor's eye twitches, which makes the grimace on his God, I can't say that word. Which makes the grimace on his face even uglier. Have I done something to displease the Lord Captain? Did I mishear you, or are you giving the rogue trader cheek? Answer me, Void Rat. I am merely sharing an observation. On the contrary, you are the first person on the bridge who's not tripped over themselves to lick my boots. Alright. The helmsman's perpetually twisted mouth twitches as if he's trying to smile. It looks sinister rather than friendly. Oh yeah? Well, I'm pleasantly surprised myself that you aren't having me flogged for insubordination. But wonders never cease. Alright. Ravor points at the cables around himself. Connecting wires. Once they go into the control panel, I become one with the ship. Except the bloody cogs messed up with the wires, stimulus injectors and connectors when they have implanted them. They twist the wires the wrong way or burn something in my noggin. Anyway, I can't sleep. It just doesn't happen anymore. It's been 30 years of non-stop stimulants and splitting headache. So you'll forgive me if I'm not all smiles, Lord Captain. Tell me about the Voidborn. Lord Captain, I mean no disrespect, but you'd do better to find someone with a knack for conversation like Tolliman, or the new Voxmaster. I ain't the talking type. I just get the ship to where she needs to be. Best let folks stick to what they do best at. Fair enough. What can you tell me about the other officers? Good for nothing wasters, that's what they are. Each and every one. Take generous Danrock, that highborn weasel. He fawns over the officers, but some of the deals he makes would get him burned alive. He drags other people into his schemes so they can take the fall for him too. One of my junior helmsmen ferrying goods from the footfall for him got caught by the seneschal and ended up in the void hatch. Danrock couldn't care less. The Voxmaster. Another Tolliman like the last one. Void rest him. Is no better. She cut off half the Vox channels the day she took up her post. Said the Vox systems were damaged and the Engineerium had no contact with other modules. But how am I supposed to steer the ship? Collect the cogs reports with the power of my mind? So you're not a psycho then. First Officer Versarian. I can't stand him. Like every Navy officer I've ever met. He doesn't know a thing about controlling a vessel in the void, but he puffs himself up all the same and throws his weight around. Me and him had to have words a few times before he left me alone. Thank the Emperor Lady Theodora trusted me more than the Seneschal when it comes to Thank the Emperor Lady Theodora trusted me more than the Seneschal when it comes to helming a void ship. Then there's that woman. What's her name? Flass? Lady Theodora brought her along wherever she went, and look at what happened to her. I wouldn't be surprised if it turned out that she was just a witch that delivered her to an early grave. Just like countless souls before. I don't see why anyone would want that walking calamity on their ship. Some would disagree. They say she's friends with the young Tolliman, you know? Or at least she used to be. Tell me, do you like anyone at all? Ravor looks perplexed. What kind of question is that? I like you. And Lady Theodora before you. Where would I be if I was making cracks about the rogue trader? Ha! I don't want to die just yet. I must take my leave. Lord Captain. Alright, that's good. Alright, let's see what's going to happen now. Alright, are we still heading near? We're halfway there. Let's see what happens next then. Oh, we made it. Begin scan. What's Extractium? Dead world. Extractium. People. Oh, okay. Oh, what's this? Profit factor. Okay. Ricardi Philia, the prison planetoid. Let's go have a look. Alright. Okay, here we are. Goods to cargo.
Keep your wits about you.
Alright, let's just save quickly.
Fortune smiles on us. An ill omen.
Come escort. This is Captain Vicari. Escort, please come in. Pilot Raquel. The pale young woman looks at you with a mixture of hope and disbelief swirling in her eyes. You notice her hands trembling as she clutches her weapon. Who are you? Did you come from the planet? Are you reinforcements? Saint's teeth. I thought you'd never come. Abelard, teach this riffraff the proper way of addressing her sovereign. I am rogue trader Paul Shikinami von Valancius. Now introduce yourself. Bow before the illustrious Paul Shikinami von Valancius. Tell me about this planetoid. What happened here? I have no time for long-winded talks. Brief me on the situation ahead and do be concise. I am looking back for a man by the name of Heinrich von Kallax. Is he here perhaps? I am rogue trader. At once. Captain Raquel Vicari, servant of House Winterscale, pilot of this shuttle. It is an honour to be greeting His Lordship von Valancius. Okay, tell me about this planetoid. The only settlement on Ricardi Filia is a penal colony. The prisoners work in the mines and the domed quarries. They mine sulfur, ceram dust and sand, which is then melted down. A rather nondescript place. Or so it was prior to current events. We have the worst timing, don't we? Tell me, what happened here? There's been a prison riot on the planetoid. Sadly, it is being led by the prison warden himself. The Honourable Anathagon Casteglia. Casteglia? Casteglia. Anathagon Casteglia. Cool. People have cool names in this galaxy. He has allied himself with the rabble that he himself was supposed to watch, and declared Ricardi Filia to be independent on the authority of the system's lawful governor. I came here as a shuttle pilot alongside the Honourable Evane Winterscale, son of Caligos Winterscale, rogue trader, vanquisher of Xenos, forever triumphant over the enemies of humanity, she details, enunciating every word of her overlord's title. Young Lord Winterscale wished to speak to the warden personally so he could put an end to this lawless treason. He and his escort went ahead, and I haven't been able to contact them over the Vox for a very long time now. Ah, yeah. So we went to the other place first. So maybe if we came here before, we'd have met the Lord Winterscale. Okay. Alright. Evane. One of his distant younger offspring, yes? That's as much as I know about him. Which means he hasn't distinguished himself in any meaningful way. Evane Winterscale has made several diplomatic visits to Urak 5 on behalf of his father, rogue trader Caligos Winterscale. The Great Regent would not have granted entry to someone dishonourable, which means whatever happened in this terrible, malodorous place, we must aid this man of his noble blood. Okay. The Warden himself is spearheading the riot? Yes. No one expected this. Master Casteglia is a nobleman from a respected governor house and is a vassal to House Winterscale. All of a sudden he proclaimed that Ricardi Filia was now his personal domain, that the prisoners were his subjects, and that he would never bow to anyone again. It's pure heresy. Why would young Winterscale have felt the need to parley with dissidents? It's a personal matter. Master Casteglia, the seditious warden, is Lord Evane's childhood friend. Okay. When my lord heard of the riot, the news saddened him greatly, and so he rushed here without delay. in hopes of bringing his old friend to his senses, no doubt. The first winter scale in my memory who prefers to talk first rather than shoot and slash. Young Lord Winterscale is not his father's shadow. If he is determined to save his friend, he won't back down. I pray to the throne that he is alive and well. He's been gone for such a long time, and I really don't like this place. Theobald executed his wife and his only son on the mere suspicion of treason against House Orselio. So why did the noble Evane rush to save someone who had betrayed his house? Do bonds of friendship give one right to make inexcusable mistakes? Okay. I am looking for a man by the name... okay. Unless it is one of the prisoners or guards, then it seems unlikely. There are no shuttles in working order other than yours and mine. There is nothing else anyone could have used to reach this place. Okay. Is there anything else I should be appraised of before I set out? Some of the rebels have holed up in the barracks. I don't know how many, but given this is the only way through to where the negotiations are taking place, I would expect heavy resistance. Please take caution, your lordship. Lord Winterscale's guards mine the entrance, so that the rebels couldn't get to the shuttle. Alright. I have no more questions. You may excuse yourself, pilot. Your lordship, if I may have a minute of your time, I would never have dared to trouble you with a personal matter, but the situation in any case... Have you been to the capital of Rykard Minoris yet? I wanted to ask you if you saw a man there, a communications officer by the name of Jasper. What is your relationship to this man? We are engaged, your lordship. I have not been to Rykard Minoris yet, and I know nothing of this officer's fate. That's a shame. May the Emperor keep that fool from harm. Thank you for your time, your lordship. She bows. You can tell by her eyes that she is exhausted, frightened, and wishes to be off this planet as soon as possible. Alright.
Is there money to be made?
Duty prevails.
Excellent. Trap disarmed. Alright. I am going to stop there, I think. Yeah, I have work in the morning, so played an hour, did a little bit. It was fun. I'll probably be back again later in the week. So I've got some videos to edit, so I want to get on with that as well. So yeah. Alright, thank you very much for watching. Take care, and oh, actually, first I'll save. Okay. Alright, so yeah. Thank you for watching. Take care, everyone, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.